Let's review this thing. I'll admit it, last year's iPhone 12 was the first iPhone I've ever purchased. I've always been an Android user, but when I watched the launch event and saw the new design with the flat edges, Apple had me like. And it's been a great phone. I used it to film the first few of my videos on here, and I've been using it as a daily driver ever since. Battery life is solid, video quality is excellent, and it doesn't break a sweat with intensive tasks. So this year, when Apple announced the iPhone 13, I was like,
hell yes.
I put in a pre-order for $799 and waited anxiously by the mailbox. So now, here we are a little over a week later, and well, opening the box, we get the same 6.1-inch 60Hz OLED screen as the iPhone 12, a Lightning to USB-C charging cable, some paperwork, and that's it. Still no charging brick. The phone is largely identical to last year's model with the same flat edges that I really like, a 20% smaller front notch, and a new camera layout on the back. This one weighs a little more, but it's not really noticeable in the hand.
That's what she said.
You get the new A15 Bionic chip, 5G connectivity, and a slightly larger battery. Oh, and they're still MagSafe if you feel like you haven't given Apple quite enough of your money yet.
Boo! Boo!
I bought the black one because I'm boring, but I really like the blue one. They also offer pink, starlight, and red finishes. Quick note, Apple is still doing that stupid thing where they charge you an extra $30 if you buy it unlocked and don't activate it when you purchase, so just a heads up. So let's go over what's new. As I said, the screen is largely the same as last year, but the notch is smaller. In day-to-day use, it makes pretty much no difference. Apple didn't use this space to add any additional info to the top of the screen. I think they just made the font bigger. And how did they achieve this scientific notch reduction? Oh, they just moved the... Yeah, they just moved the speaker to the top of the phone. Easy enough. The new screen is much brighter, with the 13 reaching 800 nits compared to the 625 nits on the 12, which should help with daylight visibility. I mentioned the A15 Bionic chip, which is stupid fast, but it's not really a huge leap forward compared to the 12's A14 Bionic chip because that was already the fastest chip in a phone. The iPhone 13 has more 5G bands than the 12, but I don't think that will matter to most people. Let's talk about the battery life. This is the biggest upgrade to me as the new iPhone will last up to 2 hours longer than last year's model. The iPhone 12 already had pretty great battery life, and this improvement really pushes the value of the phone as you can use it longer throughout the day without having to hit the charger. All of the new models also finally start at 128 gigabytes of storage. It's embarrassing that Apple was still shipping phones with 64 gigabytes before this. Let's talk about the last upgrade on the iPhone 13, the cameras. The iPhone 13 has dual 12 megapixel wide and ultra wide lenses similar to the 12. Apple says these new sensors let in up to 47% more light, which means better night shots and more detail in dark areas. Apple also upgraded the image stabilization with sensor shift, a feature that was only available on the 12 Pro Max last year. Side by side with the 12, the shots produced are marginally better. Nothing really jumped out to me, but I do appreciate better stabilization when filming. Cinematic mode is a new software feature for the iPhone 13 lineup, which attempts to give videos a more cinematic look. The best way to explain this is it's like portrait mode for video. The phone will analyze the video in real time and attempt to give you a bokeh effect you get on professional cameras with faster lenses. It will focus on faces or subjects in the foreground, then rack the focus if the first subject turns away. You can also do this after the video has been shot, which is really cool in theory. In practice though, it's still rough around the edges. The bokeh effect is a little too blurred, and while it swaps quickly between subjects, you can tell it's artificially produced. It also struggles a little bit with edge detection, as you can see when I'm filming through these plant leaves. This is also capped at 1080p at 30 frames per second. But this mode has a lot of potential, and I could really see this thing becoming cool down the road as Apple has more time to work on it. I already use my iPhone for a lot of B-roll shots, and this can be a game changer once it's finally tuned. Another thing they introduced is something called photographic styles. It's like a filter on steroids, but instead of just laying over the top of a photo, it's actually baked into the picture when you take it. A typical filter applied to a photograph will be applied to everything in the picture, but these new styles will apply without affecting things such as skin tones. The styles available at launch are rich contrast, vibrant, warm, and cool. You can adjust the tone and warmth of these photos taken with the styles. You can do this in real time or after the photo is taken. These are actually pretty cool, and you can definitely tell a difference when they are used. Now you can make your pictures look like a Samsung or a Pixel by changing these settings. And that's it. On paper, these seem like quite a few upgrades over last year's models, but in day-to-day use this last week, I'm not totally sold. You get the same body style, same 4GB of RAM, same 20W wired and 15W MagSafe wireless charging, nearly the same performance, and outside of a few new modes, largely the same camera performance. While I'm happy that they didn't change starting prices for the new models, this doesn't really feel like it earns an upgrade over the iPhone 12. Keep in mind that the 12 is still for sale for $699, and every time Apple introduces a new phone, they start selling refurbished models from the previous year on the website for even less. In my experience, their refurbishment process is excellent and the products seem practically brand new, so that's always an option. I'll put it this way, do you remember the S models Apple used to do? They usually kept the same body but made small iterative upgrades and offered a new phone for sale every other year. They stopped this with the 6S in 2015, and I can't confirm why. One factor could be that it kept people from upgrading from, say, the 6 to the 6S. Why upgrade to a slightly improved version of what you already have? The iPhone 13 feels in a lot of ways like a 12S. A few solid improvements on an already excellent phone. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. I really appreciate you watching, and if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. Until next time.